I mean, we were talking about some of Shlomo HaMelech's great writings, where they had thinking about putting Geniza, they were thinking about putting it, hiding it, but then they figured out that the understanding of the psukim that they're not contradicted to each other. We're on 30b3, the last end of the page. That was the last thing that we said. 30b3 on the bottom. Look, my dvorov sotin. We'll just go back to that. My dvorov sotin zeh regarding Sefer Mishlei. Like we said last time, Sefer Mishlei, that is the famous, that is a Sefer that Shlomo HaMelech wrote, and that's what we read on Friday night. We sing Friday night, Eshet Chayam Yimsa. The great Mark Ajmi is
Good
on the
morning. Good
screen.
morning, Rabbi.
Morning. How's the great Mark Ajmi doing?
About great. I'm doing great, but I don't know what I use that word for me to describe me. You're great.
No, no, I was just testing your humility. How do you like
Yeah.
that?
How'd
So
I
you
do?
you you passed 100. You got 100 on the test. Okay, but it's true, Mark. You keep up your good work, all that you do for the Jewish community.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. You do
Thank
much more.
No, no, no. Okay, thank you for your chizuk. Everyone needs, even the rabbi could use a good word. How do you like that? Okay, we were learning. We're learning Agartha, very interesting Gemara. Soon we're going to be getting to a very famous Gemara about Hillel, the famous Hillel, who was, one of the most humblest of all. Where we're going to see how someone actually tested him. Mark, isn't that interesting? That someone actually tested him to see how humble he was. They made a bet and he lost. He thought he could get Hillel to get angry, and he wasn't able to get Hillel to get angry. But now we were discussing the Sefer Mishlei. Shlomo Melech, the wisest of all men, wrote Sefer Mishlei, and there were certain verses that seemed on surface contradictory to each other, and because of that, they considered putting it to Genizah. They considered putting, just like when you have a holy sefer, holy book that got worn out, that you can't use it anymore. You have to put it. You put it in Genizah. You put it in a storage area, or they actually bury it. You put it away. So they thought to, so to speak, put into Genizah Sefer Mishlei, and we would not have had it in front of us to study, because, as we said last time, because if you can't understand the book, the holy book, and if the messages are two opposing messages, so people are not going to know how to understand what's right in life, what's wrong in life, and therefore they were thinking of putting it to Gnizah, but they understood, they realized that, they said, just as Sefer Kehelet, they had a similar situation with Sefer Kehelet, and there was also verses that seemed on surface contradictory, but they said it's a very holy sefer. They gotta figure it out, and they figured it out. So too, they said we gotta go ahead and figure out what Shlomo HaMelech, what's the meaning, and the Gemara, and they found the meaning. They worked on it. They found the meaning. So that's what the Gemara says. My varav sotezeh. What does it mean that the words of Mishlei contradicted each other? So the Gemara says, "Ktiv." It says in Mishlei, "Al ta'an kasil kivalto." Don't respond to the fool like his foolishness. Maybe because if you respond to him, the people will think you are also a fool. You respond to a fool, people think you're a fool like him. You're talking to a fool, you give him time, right? There's a lot of fools out there, right, Adam, that people give time to, they respond to, and as if they're a legitimate voice to even reckon with by even responding. In life, we also have to learn a lot of times it's best not to respond to certain people. Don't give by you responding to them, it gives them legitimacy. But then there's another pasuk that says that anik valto, you should respond to the fool. You know, just because if you don't respond to him, he's going to think The Pasuk says, Pen yechacham beinav. You don't respond to him, he's going to think that he is a wise person. He's going to think he said something to you. You don't respond. You don't respond as if he got you. He knows better than you. So we have a contradiction. One place it says, don't respond to the fool. And one place it says, respond to the fool. Right? So the Gemara says, how do you explain it? It depends. Look, Hasha. Ha divrei Torah. Ha b'mila da'alma. One is talking about Torah. When it comes to Torah, when the fool is making fun and poking fun at the Torah, then if you don't respond, then it looks like the Torah is really not in the right, so to speak. He put down the Torah, that you have to respond to. But if he's poking fun at just things that are not of that type of importance, just mundane stuff, then you don't respond. Let the fool talk as much as he wants, so to speak. You don't have to respond. There's no great ramifications in his foolishness if you don't respond. But if he doesn't respond he pokes fun at Torah, and he says, that the words of Torah are not meaningful, and whatever he's trying to undermine the Torah, then you have to go ahead and show him that he's wrong. Then maybe that will help him change his mindset. Maybe it'll help the people around you might not get caught up.
So a heretic, or someone who's being sarcastic or something, says something, negative about keeping a certain mitzvah, something like that. It's our responsibility to respond to them.
Right. That's what it would seem like. Let's say if someone comes out and says, a person says, pokes fun at mitzvot and tries to show that the mitzvah is now obviously missionaries you should not respond to, because missionaries, I think, they're not interested in anything you have to say. Whatever you say will not make any difference to him. You see, the language of the pasuk is respond to the fool, because lest he is wise in his own eyes. And then so it sounds like, because if you don't respond to the fool, then he's going to think he's in the right, and maybe he's going to write off the Torah, so to speak. But I would think that's talking about a foolish person who maybe you could ration with, perhaps, or you could get somewhere with. But these heretics, these people that have no, like the missionaries. So I don't know that every person needs to be responded to like in the mission, in the missionary type of people. But I think you would have to make a judgment to see. I want to look at the commentary over here. Says when a student. Yeah, the Gemara is when a student pokes fun at a Torah, right? Right. Meaning, let's say they point out. Let's say you have someone has a student, and the young student says, he comes to the class, he comes to the yeshiva, and he says, this doesn't make sense, and he makes a joke about it. The rabbi said this. The rabbi said this is the Torah. The Torah says a certain law, and then the student says it can't be. And the Gemara now is going to bring examples of where a student would poke fun at what the rabbi said. And if you don't respond to the student, so the student is going to think that he knows better. He's going to think that the Torah is not legit. So therefore, you got to respond, even if the student, is poking fun and he's acting foolish by not accepting the words of the Torah. But you got to respond to him. Because he's going to think that he defeated you. He's going to think that he knows better. And the Gemara now is going to bring examples of that. So that's an interesting thing. Like a student is a person that, at the end of the day, he's a student. He's not a missionary that feels that he's an equal. a student understands that that maybe the rabbi is more experienced and more knowledgeable than him, but he still says that what the rabbi says doesn't make sense, and he pokes
But
fun at
but but
me.
you're defining someone very clearly. When you say a student, what is the student there to do?
But he's there to learn. He's willing to.
Ah, that's it. So if he's there to learn, then there's a path forward. Someone who
Right,
comes in, a missionary, is not
right,
participating with you, and I
right,
want to learn from you. I have
right.
something to learn. It's
Ex-
the student might be a skeptic, but he's still a student.
Exactly. I think that's how we could explain it. Exactly. Very well said. Very well said. Correct. And you should know, like, should you debate an atheist? The atheist, I don't believe, is it, if an atheist is interested, he says, I'm an atheist, I want to, maybe I would love to, maybe if you could explain to me, he's coming to understand, then it's one thing. But a general debate about an atheist, it's all about them keeping their position. The debate is not about me teaching the atheist. The debate is about atheists saying, I want to show you that I'm right. I have no interest, just like many of the politicians in Washington. The senator from Wyoming is going to say his opinion. Nobody changes their mind. But I don't think anybody changes their mind after each senator gives their own opinion on what they feel. You know what I'm saying? Am I correct, Adam?
Yeah, this is referring to private debates as opposed to where there's third parties affected, right? Like if the missionaries in the public square of a city.
Right. So Adam is saying, Mark, the question is, if the missionaries come into a public city, and then maybe you have to defend because of everybody else, if my father-in-law, Rabbi London of blessed memory, if he would see missionaries, he would, and he would see the missionaries by Brighton Beach, and they're talking to Jewish people, Jewish Russians that don't know anything. So he would go more. I think he would go over to the Russian people to get them to explain to them, not to debate them. I don't think he debated them. I think obviously we get involved to go ahead and tell them, you shouldn't don't talk to these people because they're out to get you, so to speak. But Adam is bringing up a point. Let's say if the missionaries are out there, they're debating and they're causing the Jewish community to go ahead and and lose it, so then maybe that might be different. You know what I'm saying? They might have to be able to respond on behalf of the morning mark, on behalf of the, I want to give Mark that, Gemara, Adam, if you don't mind, on behalf of the community. There is a famous debate with Nachmanides, the Ramban, the famous Ramban, when he debated, but that he was forced into the debate. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't he was looking to debate because the other side was not interested. You know what I'm saying? He won the debate, but then he had to run for his life. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so here the Gemara illustrates it. The Gemara says, Kiha dahu the asal kame de Rebbe. God bless you. Someone came in front of Rebbe. Okay, now we're on 30b4. Top of the page. Someone came in front of Rebbe. Mark, we're going to need your help in recruitment for after the holiday. Recruitment is not an easy job. In anything, in any field. Okay. Yehud Asla Kamei the Rebbe. Someone came in front of Rebbe. You got it? 30b4. Came in front of Rebbe. And Amalei, he said to Rebbe, Ishtecha Ishti, your wife is my wife. The Gemara is now going to explain a case that you do not respond. You do not respond to the foolish person. He says, here's a crazy thing. He says, your wife is my wife, your children are my children. He's a crazy guy. This guy's a foolish guy. Your wife is my wife, Banecha Banai, meaning he's saying your children are not, meaning you think those children are your children, not your children, they're my children. I mean, they're really illegitimate children. They're mamzerim, illegitimate children. That's meaning your wife had an affair with me, and these are my children. Amalei, so Rebbe said to him, Resoncha shetishte koshel yayin. He didn't respond. He didn't say, no, you're wrong. This is my wife. My wife is an honest woman. Says you want to drink a cup of wine. It sounds like the sotah type of story. You give the wife to drink, the lady who was questionably unfaithful, you give her to drink wine. So he says, do you want to drink a cup of wine? Yeah, he's happy to drink a cup of wine. Everyone likes a cup of wine, right? Now, so the commentary says, Rebbe understood if I respond to him, it's not going to help at all. This guy's wild and crazy. He says that your wife is who you talking about a guy I will call him emotionally disturbed. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but maybe not, or whatever minimum, whatever he's maybe he's not emotionally disturbed. He's just acting very inappropriate. And he says, and if you respond to him, people are going to start, question you. You say, he's going to respond. He's going to say, Rebbe, you're lying. And the people, the Rebbe would respond, no, she is my wife. And he says, no, she's not you. I had an affair with her. So the onlookers will say, okay, we don't know who's right, who's saying the truth. And then people are going to, give legitimacy. Therefore, Rebbe says, you know what? Do you want to drink a cup of wine? Now, so one of the commentaries says, as if he was giving him a thank you for letting me know about my wife, and the wife is not so honest. So the guy will drink the cup of wine, shata upaka, and the guy died. Now, which would seem to be a punishment from heaven that he had such a chutzpah to say about Rebbe's wife, and Rebbe's children, that they're illegitimate and his wife had an affair. So, and this mirrors exactly the Sota story, by the way. It's like she blows up, right? Here it says Poka is like he blew up. The guy, he burst. It's like the Sota burst. Also, we see the power of a person's word. What do you say? Because very good. So that it was the wine. Well, what's the story of Sota? Because wine brings to this type of thing, meaning to inappropriate. Wine brings to immorality, right? So therefore, right after the story of the Sota, it says what? The story of Nazir. Nazir you say, I'm not going to drink wine for 30 days. And I'll cut my hair. Why wine? Because if you see a Sota, you see a lady blows up. What caused her to blow up was the drinking of the wine. She lost the inhibitions. So perhaps she said to the wine was the cause of the death of the woman. So now that he's claiming, in a certain sense, that this woman's wife, his wife drank wine. Because how could it be that his wife, Rebbe's wife, would have went to another man? It would have to be under the most probably she drank wine. So he's saying that in the sense of he's saying that he drank wine in between the lines, and that caused her to do the sin. So you're saying that wine was what she did, that she drank and she caused it. You're going to die from wine. So wine, you're saying was the vehicle that I'm suggesting that he's saying that his wife, Rebbe's wife, drank wine. You're going to drink the wine, and wine's going to knock this guy out. I'm just saying, perhaps the wine he's claiming, just like we have a concept, the miracle of Purim, Hashem used wine. Under the influence of wine, he killed Vashti and all that. So we commemorate the wine. So it's the wine here. The wine is what he was claiming that the Rebbe's wife drank. It was the vehicle to cause her to do the sin. So you're going to drink the wine. That's going to be used against you. I'm suggesting that's Chiddush. They came up today, Mark, only because you're here today. If you would not be here today, the Chiddush would not have come to all. Right, Adam? Mark, you like it?
Yeah. The cases where wine is used to kill someone, the drinking.
We find interesting that if a Kohen, Esav, when Esav, Adam, I'll get to you in a minute. When Yaakov bought the blessings from Esav. And Esav asked, now why did he buy the blessings? Because he knew that Esav was not going to be able to be a proper person, to serve the Beit HaMikdash. Imagine you have a gangster, a murderer, who's going to be the one who's going to be a Kohen Gadol. Doesn't make sense. So Esav says, Hine anochi holech lamot. I'm going to die, Esav says. And Rashi says, what did Yaakov say to him? Yaakov said, if you want to be the Kohen, a Kohen cannot serve under the influence of wine, which is obligated death. So wine, there we find wine, drinking wine as doing service on the, that's what if you look at the Rashi, what I recall, drinking wine under this, under the influence, doing service under the influence of wine could be deadly for the person. So maybe that's what we see perhaps about the wine. But in a positive sense, there's a special mitzvah today, yes, throughout the holiday, on the holidays of En Chalamoid, to drink wine every day. Why? Because wine is simcha. And therefore it brings simcha, so a special mitzvah of simcha every day. Today, you have your meal today. If you drank your wine last night, so you drank your wine last night, still you could get the mitzvah today also. Make sure you have something. If you enjoy wine, you should have wine every day. No one should get drunk. No one should drink and drive. But we should do things of simcha, including chalamot. Yes.
So was he giving the wine as kind of like a mocking?
It wasn't my. He didn't respond. He didn't say. He didn't answer. The commentary here wants to say that the wine was as if the person should think that Rebbe is giving him a thank you.
That's what I mean. Like, but obviously
He's not giving a thank you. He wants him to drink the wine, and he's going to leave it to heaven to deal with the guy. It sounds like Rebbe knew most probably that wine was toxic, that could kill the guy, and Rebbe and I presume Rebbe was leaving up to heaven to deal with the guy. If heaven felt that he should be killed, the wine will kill him, and heaven felt that the guy should be killed for saying such a thing.
But he didn't take the bait.
He didn't respond. He said nothing. The guy said, "Your wife had an affair with me." Maybe he didn't respond. He said, "You know what? Drink a cup of wine. Here's a cup of wine."
So this guy represents the missionary.
He represents the mission. Don't respond. You can't. And what's the purpose of responding to this guy? If you respond, and also the commentary says, if you respond to him, the onlooker thinks there's two positions here. There's two opinions here. You said I make a claim against you, and you deny it.
It doesn't represent the mission. Everybody outside that's when it comes to Torah, there's two choices, right? It's a missionary and a person who's just a heretic that you should respond to. Outside of Torah issues, there's no response. You don't respond to the crazy person.
But isn't there like a
Right?
lot of sources?
Right. Outside, because
This is outside.
This is outside. He's outside. He's saying something crazy.
But if it's outside matters of Torah, there could still be the equivalent of the heretic, the good faith person who's just applied.
But he's not a good faith. He's not a good faith person. The person makes up a guy who makes up a story, crazy stories like that. He's not a good faith guy, right? I mean, what would be the purpose of responding to such a guy?
Could be more similar to the heretic. Like, what
But again, if it's not but again, is it a foolish statement or not a foolish?
Just that's going to give you a
Morning.
statement
Kohen Gadol. Good to
that
see.
falls under just the heretic of Torah. So if this guy you're saying he falls under the missionary. I think it's saying that everyone falls in every non-Torah matter. A fool, you shouldn't respond.
If he's pretty foolish, I mean, we're talking about a fool. We're not talking about a guy who needs clarity in life. We're talking about a guy who says foolish, wild things.
The guy's not talking nonsense.
Right.
The guy's talking nonsense. Talking nonsense, you don't answer. That's not heretic and missionary. To me, a heretic and a missionary, or student and a missionary, there's two to pick from. Outside of Torah, seemingly, we're not separating it into a student and a missionary. Outside of Torah, it's
Fool.
is a fool, don't respond.
And the Gemara is going to bring it. Right. The Gemara is very good. The Gemara is going to. It's going to explain how was Rebbe merit that his children should be saved from the rumors of illegitimacy. Amar Rav Chiya. Rav Chiya says, "Ahanyele salutei leRebbe." He says,
He's same person?
No, Rav Chia is a different person. But we had, 1 second.
So
One
Rav Chia said
second. Maybe 1 second.
Rav Chia said
Yeah, you know what? I have, there's two, I skipped, sorry. That was case one, right? Now we have another story, Mark. Someone came from Rav Chia. And the first case was someone came, was Rebbe, said about Rebbe's wife. Right. The first case was someone came in front of Rebbe, says, Rebbe, your wife had an affair with me. And the second case
That
was
sounds like a similar case.
similar case, but different. Not saying your wife, but your mother. The guy says your mother. Right. Exactly. Who's the guy from Rav Chia? Came from Rav Chia. Amalei, he said to Rav Chia, Imcha, your mother. You think that was your mother? She.
The Rebbe's son?
No, it's not in Rebbe.
Two different cases.
Right, there's two different. Right, one's Rebbe, one's Rebbe Chia. Two different people, and someone.
What did Rebbe?
No, so Rebbe didn't respond. Rebbe just to drink a cup of wine. Rebbe was the last case we had was Rebbe, right? The first case, the Gemara says, but the guy came in front of Rebbe, right? Rebbe
He
is
said he offered him a glass of wine and accepted it in reverse.
that was case one.
And another one.
Now another rabbi
said,
did the same thing with the wine, but
"You can't drink the wine in Hebrew."
right. But the difference is the cases is what the foolish guy said. The case one, the foolish guy came to Rebbe. Rebbe is generally Rebbe Yehuda Hanassi, the one who put together the Mishnah. And and he said about Rebbe that your wife had an affair with me. And now we have someone else coming to Rabbi Chia, another crazy guy, and he says it's Rabbi Chia that your mother had an affair with me.
What do I do?
Okay, so maybe because of the following, maybe because the Gemara is gonna, we'll see another statement, and we'll see if we can connect the two. Someone came in front of Rav Chia, and first we see that he also follows Rebbe's pattern. Came in front of Rav Chia, and Amalei, and he said to him, Imcha ishti, your mother is my wife. Va'ata beni, you're my son. You're a mamzer. You're an illegitimate child because I had an affair with your mother, and that's how you were born. So what is Amalei? So Rav Chia said the same thing to the man. Want to drink a wine? Everyone wants a cup of wine. The guy took the wine. What happened? Shata upaka, and the guy also died. He drank the wine, and he died. Now, so the Gemara now says that Rav Chia now talks about Rebbe. What does Rav Chia say about Rebbe? He says, Ahanyele slutei the Rebbe's prayer. Rebbe's prayer helped the low Ahanyele slutei the Rebbe, the Lulashavi B'nai Mazeri. The prayer of Rebbe helped that his children should not have a rumor about them that they were illegitimate. That now, what does that mean? We'll see in a second. The Rebbe, when Rebbe would pray every day, Omar, he said in his prayer, Yehi Ratzon L'fanecha. We say this, by the way, by the Yehi Ratzon L'fanecha Hashem Elokeinu Shetatsileni Hayom Me'azei Ponim U'Me'azut Ponim. You should save me from Azei Ponim, the people that are chutzpah, people that have that brazenness. Save me from them. People that have chutzpah are very dangerous because they act with chutzpah. You don't know that they openly do things that are so wild and crazy and chutzpah. The chutzpah made it into the English dictionary most probably, right? Brazenness, and also me'azut ponim, that I shouldn't have any rumors about illegitimacy in my family. And that is what he prayed. And I presume Rav Chia is saying, even though that, how was it that Rebbe, now when the guy died, the guy blew up. So what did that show when the guy blows up? Morning, that the children aren't mamzerim. Meaning the fact that the guy who claimed that Rebbe's morning, we had someone made a claim against Rebbe that Rebbe's children are illegitimate children. And what happened to the guy? The guy blew up. So if the guy blew up, that means that the guy's claim was not a claim. It shows the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. If the guy blew up, it means he got punished. Heaven like struck him. So it's clear that Rebbe's children are not illegitimate. But Rav Chia understands what merit did Rebbe have that his children were saved from that guy's rumors, that embarrassment, and he understands that was because of his prayers. Because Rebbe prayed every day that he should be saved from such type of people, and you see, if you know, in the davening every day, we have this in the davening right after, in the Birkat HaShachar. Right, exactly. Right after that long bracha, and we say then we end that bracha to Hashem. Gomel chasadim tov l'amo Yisrael. You give a lot of kindness. Then it says Yehi Ratzon. Correct, Mark? Then we have Yehi Ratzon v'necha. Good morning, Murray. But the Moach says we say save me today and every day me'azei panim ma'azut panim. And azei panim ma'azut panim. What does that refer to? That refers to praying that you should be saved from people that are very brazen, and they don't want you to have any rumors against your family. And there's another thing. Now, why is it that if you refer to your children, there should not be any rumors about your children, that your children are not illegitimate? That's referred to azut panim, to brazenness. That you could say the brazenness means because if someone has the chutzpah to go ahead and claim, good morning, if someone has the chutzpah to claim that your children are illegitimate, so you would say that's why you're asking, that's the language of azut panim, right? Because that's a brazenness someone has to say that. But there's another idea. Chutzpah, someone who's an illegitimate child, a sign of an illegitimate child is brazenness. Meaning to say, an illegitimate child has a certain chutzpah. And I heard that there were certain places that in the Jewish community, maybe in wherever certain places, that when there was this type of activity between men and women, when there wasn't this type of normalcy of marriage, and there was this type of in Jewish community that were not religious, and that whatever it was, the children have such chutzpah. Where did they get such chutzpah from? These some Jewish people, there were some Jewish people that had a tremendous chutzpah, and some of it came because of they were children of illegitimate. And the effects, the Gemara says, good morning, Boker Tov. You should only know a smachot in the family. The Gemara says, good morning. The Gemara says that when a person gets married, if he has relations with his wife while she's a nidah, so that child will be affected. There'll be certain traits of the child that will be affected. Now, the child has the ability, obviously, through working hard to, overcome whatever those maybe certain challenges or tendencies. Everyone, because Hashem will not make any person not able to overcome those things. But there is an effect on the child if the woman is a nidah, and it's even probably a different type of effect if the woman is someone else's wife, and that child being born in sin. It has an effect on the child.
I think it was driving off on right? There's a woman and her son was getting married to someone. Or no, his daughter was married to someone. And he was like, I don't know, to marry them because this thing. The mom was definitely not religious at the time. There's an effect on him. Must be an effect on him. So he has great midot and everything. Rabbi, what should I do?
Right. So this is a letter. He's referring to a letter in the Igrot Moshe to Moshe Feinstein. Right.
He goes. Wait, he has great midot. She must have been to the beach that day. She wasn't nidat. Don't worry, get that.
Right, something like that, he
The
said.
fact,
Good.
the fact that he's not, doesn't have bad thoughts means that it couldn't be, that he's good.
But it just shows you, what is it, what do we see from that? What, read between the lines. Like you're testing to the point that we're saying, that there is a great influence on that child. So when people get married, I think the big lesson we could take from that, if people get married, they have to realize the child that they're going to be bringing into the world, depending on what type of, you know, what type of, what type of woman she is, and whether he's allowed to be with her at that time or not allowed to be with her at time. And also the rabbi say the thoughts that are in the minds of the people while they're doing the act, the thoughts that they have in mind, if the purity of their mind and their thoughts during such an act has such a positive effect in a very healthy and straight way on the child. So I want to wish everyone a beautiful day, and everyone can enjoy the left of the holiday, and everyone should have a beautiful holiday. What was that?